How's it going? It's Jake here. Just did a quick hive check of my hive. As you can see, I've taken the second box off the top, had a look in there, see how much honey's in there. There's a fair bit. They're working on 5 frames, which is pretty good. I put 2 frames from the bottom up and checkerboard them up the top, so that the bees that hatch at the top would be more inclined to build up the top. And now I'm just taking some frames out of the bottom box to have a look. Now, I pulled 2 frames. The first one the queen's been laying in, which is a surprise. The second one, I'm not sure if you can see it properly, she's been laying in also. Now, at the top, you should be able to see plenty of honey. Lots of honey being built. No drones on this one, thankfully. If I turn it around, you can see right up there, capped honey. So my queen's working pretty hard. In here, you should be able to see uncapped larvae. And if you look really closely, you can see the royal jelly with just the eggs that have just hatched into the larvae. So the queen's been here within 3 days. So on my hunt for the queen, this is where I start. And no queen as of yet. So I put the number 2 frame in the number 1 position. That gives me space to get out the number 3 frame. All while the number 1 frame, which doesn't have the queen, is on the outside, posing me no risk of losing the queen. By removing the frames, or 1 frame, and having that space, I'm allowed to reduce the chance of crushing the queen, which is the ideal thing. Because I have young larvae, my bees could make another queen if they really needed to, but that's just not good. Alright, so I believe this frame here that I've got, I'd actually put it down from the top frame, from the top hive, sorry, the top super, and they're just building drones in here. Plenty of honey, if you can see, nice and shiny, but all they're doing is building drones. So I'm gonna have to look up what to do, but I think I might have to put this one in the top box to stop the queen thinking that it's a good spot to lay drones. Look at all that honey. The agapanthus have just died off, but there was lots of them around making lots and lots of good honey, as you can tell from that nice golden amber. And then we got drones. Bugger. I've read that about 5 to 10% of your hive should be drones, so I'm not worried. So we'll put this one back. Now, do I need to find the queen every time I go into my hive? The answer is no. Because I found eggs, which means she was here within 3 days. And I haven't gone into the brood box in about 10 days. So I'm in good position. I'm going to check out frame number 4, and then I'll just go for a quick inspect. I don't want to deal with all the ripping apart the brood box just to find a queen when I know she's in here. But I suspect she will be here. Honey at the top. Excellent brood at the bottom. Appears to be eggs in the middle, or larvae. Spread out brood pattern at the top, on the other side. Larvae, pollen, plenty of pollen. I'll show you the pollen if you can see it. So under the honey, you got honey here, and then there's pollen all in and amongst there. They've been finding lots of sort of yellowy, orangey pollen and then deep orange pollen. That's what I've been noticing. So yeah, that's that. Now I can't see the queen. If anyone can see it, let me know. But that's the brood pattern she's been going with. So I think she's going to be on this frame or the next one, but I don't want to dig in for her, because that's just going to be distressing. Easy to do it in the bit of sunlight as well, but unfortunately it gets a bit hot when the sun's out. So I'm doing it about 10:30, 11 right now. Now they've laid a bit of drone on the corner here, which is fine. I've got that frame which is basically all drone, and that's fine as well, because they use that to breed with all the other bees. And by other bees I mean all the other hives around town. So I can't see a queen. Haven't seen her in a few weeks, but I've seen the signs of her. So what should I do? Leave them be. So frame number 4 goes back in. Should I clean it up a bit? Yeah, but the frames are just going to keep getting a bit of bridging comb on it, so there's no point really. If it was closer to the swarming season I would, that way I could have a look in, but again, what are you going to do? Now they're getting a bit cranky because I'm giving them a bit of a budge. And my smoke has nearly died out, so it's probably a good time to shut up shop. Now they're getting a bit cranky, but that's to be expected. Someone's coming to your home, what are you going to do? Now, by no means am I a professional, but I feel like I know my stuff. In the last frame, the one with the really good brood pattern and the ridiculous amount of honey, look at that. That's all from Agapanthus. Because it's the middle of February nearly, there's not going to be much more honey coming in, unfortunately. I'll have to start feeding them around Anzac Day, but gotta roll with the punches. Now I think I've got to push a bit more. My frame number 4, when I got this hive, they built it up a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. And my whole aim, because I run 9 frames in a 10 frame box, I'm running 10 frames in the top box, is when the top box gets fully waxed up, I'm going to replace my frame number 4, which is just all wax. Alright, I've got to give him some smoke before I put the top box on. Because I don't want them to be squashed, and they will be squashed. It's inevitable. Just give it a clean up. I'll give you the lift up now. Propolis. It's sticky, alright. Now, I've just lifted this up like an idiot, and they're all coming out, so I'm going to have to, unfortunately, kill one or two. And that's on me. Now that's all in position. I'm just going to take one of these frames out just so I can show you what my bees have been doing. Now this propolis is the stickiest stuff around. Actually, I'll show you what I'm doing. Right here, I'm running a starter strip of wax at the top. Very thin foundation. But what the bees do is they build it up. And I've got fishing line. I'm not sure if you can tell. There's fishing line in the frame. I used 10 pound, probably should have used 20 or 30 pound. But that's what I did. Now this frame here, oh, that was a bit silly. The bees are working on here. You can see a bit of honey in there. All got their heads in, working hard to evaporate all the honey, all the water out of the honey, sorry. On the other side, look at that. Now, that's a bit of drone comb. I put this frame up from the bottom because I didn't want drones. And it seems like it worked because the drones are hatching out. I'm going to be left with honey. But you can't complain about that. Look at that. Look at that. Delicious. Now, what I'll have to do, I have to cut the top for comb because I'm going foundationless. The middle I'm going to have to crush because there was brood in there. If you have a look, you can sort of see brown in there. That's what's left over from the bees when they hatch. So I'm going to shut this up now. I'll shut up, probably sick of me already. But that is my beehive, and I'll date it. I believe today's date is the 9th. Valentine's Day on Sunday, 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th. It's the 9th today. So I use a wireframe just to put on top. Stop bugs getting in. I do mean to paint this. It's going to get a bit hot, but I've got good coverage. So it shouldn't get too hot, but I will have to paint it. I put that on top. I put cinnamon out the front to scare away ants. I've got water here that I fill up every day or every second day, depending if it's rain. There's a bit of the burr comb that I've been scraping off. I put that in a little melting box. Melt it down and use that to stick in my starter strips. There's a smoker. There's a jar that I was using to feed them sugar water from at the start. And that's really about it. So hopefully my video wasn't too long and too boring. Have a nice day.